As the calendar turns to September, Kings Island fans will find that the first couple of weekends, as always, the park is closed to the public. But you're not without options. Hello, everyone. Alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are and that's who we care about. Don, we get to not commit blasphemy because Kings Island's closed, so nobody can be mad at us for this one.
No. I mean, they've historically been closed those first two weekends after Labor Day. There's private events. Different companies have rented out the park. This goes all the way back to 1972, even the Coney Island days. They had these private events and that. So it's just always been the way it is. It's always been frustrating for especially new pass holders. That they'll look at the calendar and they'll wonder, why isn't it open? You should be open this week. Those kind of things. And so they get a little bit frustrated with that. But Ryan, there are if you're wanting to get out and about and you want an amusement theme park type of experience, I mean, there are things to do within 5 hours of Kings Island if you're looking to have something to do with family and friends on the weekends before Halloween hunt starts.
Yeah, that is one of the we have discussed this quite a bit, where we're very fortunate if you're in the Cincinnati market to be very close to a lot of different parks, a lot of different world-class parks at that. So we're just going to discuss, since Kings Island's closed, it's not cheating if they're closed. Remember that. But those 2 weekends after Labor Day, the first one that comes to mind is our friends at Holiday World. They're open.
They are, and they've got a Kids World event that takes place on Saturdays and Sundays through September 14th. I had a chance to experience this last week, and it's a lot of fun for families. If you've got young kids, they've got a couple of shows. They've got a magician that is just terrific. They've got a juggler. He's really good. He's been on a lot of different national shows and that. You've got all the food that the culinary experience is really good there. Plus, you've got the lineup of world-class roller coasters, specifically wood, the Voyage, the Raven, the Legend. You've got Thunderbird, which is a fantastic wing coaster. Good Gravy. You talk about fun rides, family attractions. I mean, that one was definitely a hit this summer. So yeah, I mean, Holiday World, it's within 3 hours of where the majority of the Kings Island fan base would be. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. It's a great value park, free soft drinks, free sunscreen, free parking. So I think you'd really have a good time. And you got that time change too that you're looking at. So when you leave in the morning, you can leave around 8 o'clock and still get there for the park opening at 10. So it's not bad at all. And I know, Ryan, you've enjoyed your visits there this year.
Yeah, I've made 3 visits, and I went to Good Gravy's Media Day, and then visited with some friends over the summer, and then National Roller Coaster Day. Ran into somebody I know.
Yeah.
Rode the night rides on the Voyage, which, if you can make it out for a Friday night live when they're doing that, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
By the time this drops, it's over. But
yeah, those are over. But still,
next year,
even when it's not trimless or the night rides, I mean, it's still a fantastic ride. But again, if you're looking for something to do, Kings Island's closed. So what we're doing here on this episode is we're just giving you some other parks that you might want to check out. Maybe you didn't get to go to any of these because you were committed to the Kings Island visits this summer. Well, you've got a couple weekends wide open. So what's next, Ryan?
Kentucky Kingdom, who is adding a Christmas event. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that their season pass is now more valuable than ever.
It is, and they're getting into their fall events too. Got a season pass and enjoyed my visit there. I'm looking forward to going to experience the fall event. I'm looking forward to seeing the Christmas event. This one is under 2 hours from where a lot of people in that greater Cincinnati area live. It's now run by the Herschen family. Runs that park now. The same ones that operate Dollywood. I thought the culinary experience was really good when I visited. They've got a nice collection of roller coasters. If you remember the Flying Dutchman at Kings Island, that ride is at Kentucky Kingdom, so it's a chance to tap back into maybe your childhood memories or whatever. If you remember riding that at Kings Island, yeah, I mean it's a fun park, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Now here's an obscure one. Dollywood? Never heard of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean this park just wins so many different awards. Seems like every week they're getting another accolade, and it's well deserved. About 5 hours away, 5.5.
Yeah, five and a half
Terrific.
from
Yeah,
from Cincinnati. Or well,
yeah,
it's like 4 for me. So yeah, I guess that's about right. But the drive is actually fun because you drive through the mountains and stuff. You pass Bucky's on the way there.
twice.
Twice, 2 Bucky's. You got the
Yeah.
one in Richmond and the one at the 407. So you
So
got
that's
2
what you do.
Buc-.
Kings Island's closed for one of those weekends. You make it a pilgrimage to see the beaver at Richmond, Kentucky, and then the one as you get into near Sevierville on your way to Dollywood and Pigeon Forge. But again, it's a park that you just have a great experience there. It seems one of the friendliest parks that you're ever going to visit. Great food, great lineup of roller coasters. You've got Lightning Rod, an RMC coaster, fantastic. Thunderhead, one of the best wooden coasters out there. We've talked about Mystery Mine is another can't miss attraction there. Live entertainment, and then starting September 9th, they have their Harvest Festival. So that's their Halloween event. Uh, you talk about a park that the decor is just amazing. You want to have your camera ready. I mean, they just got pumpkins and everything. It just looks just really well done, very polished. Highly recommend checking out Dollywood.
What about Kennywood?
Kennywood, another park in Pittsburgh, and if you like wooden roller coasters, they've got 3 fantastic ones. They're all a couple of them are over 100 years old, but you've got the Thunderbolt, one of my favorite wooden roller coasters. Terrific night ride. You've got the Racer, which is an interesting ride. You start on one side, you come back in on the other, and it's hard to figure out how that happened, but it's amazing right there. Jackrabbit, over 100 years old.
Mm.
This coaster, when you look at it, doesn't look like much, but it's got like this double down. It's got, just an abundance of airtime, just so much fun. You get off of that ride and you want to get, right back in line and ride it again. You've got some great flats, one of the fastest carousels I've ever been on. It's really a lot of fun. You've got the Turtle. If you remember the Tumblebug, that was at Kings Island. They've got, basically the same ride. It's called the Turtle, and
I like turtles.
that's another ride that'll bring back, memories for, those that visited Kings Island in the 70s and, into the mid 80s. And I think that food wise, they've got some culinary delights. The potato patch fries, those are can't miss. I mean, that's life changing when you eat those. So, yeah, Kennywood's another place that you want to, you got the couple of weekends open. Why not check out Kennywood?
Why not check out Kennywood? And while you're in the hood, Waldameer, Erie, Pennsylvania.
This is a sleeper park. It's a gym in Erie, Pennsylvania. One of the best wooden roller coasters out there, the Ravine Flyer 2. Fantastic, and you get some views of Lake Erie when you're riding it. But that one's relentless. It's got a lot of the similarities that you would find on the Voyage at Holiday World. Not as long, but it's got a lot of the same traits. Just a charming park. I went there back in, I guess it was the beginning of August. Wasn't planning to go there. I was on my way back from Great Escape, and I saw the sign that said Waldameer next exit. I'm like, hey, I'm out here. I might as well go. And I'm glad I did. It is something now that's going to become an annual trip for me. They got some nice flat rides. They've got a sky ride, an adorable little train ride. If you got kids, just a lot of fun little rides for the little ones and families. It's just a nice, relaxing day, and it's a throwback to what amusement parks were like, maybe in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah. Speaking of throwback parks, Indiana Beach.
Indiana Beach, yes, that is another park that last couple of years, it's starting to gain a lot more attention again. It's becoming a must visit destination for a lot of coaster enthusiasts. They've been talking about it a lot, so that's another one to consider checking out. It's what, 3.5 hours away from the greater Cincinnati area. So why not?
Yeah. And then personal favorite of yours, Camden Park.
Camden Park. Now you got to really check their operating calendar. I think it's Saturdays that they're only going to be open in September, but those 2 weekends that Kings Island is closed, we're talking about 3 hours away. Um, just it's a trolley park. It's got a lot of history there. It's a park that needs your help, needs your support. You worry about parks like that. It was one of the ones I thought about during the pandemic. Are they going to be able to survive? Nice wooden roller coaster. They've got a great dark ride. It's certainly something you're not going to spend 10 hours there, but if you're looking for something to do for 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday, you can go check out Marshall University. That is a beautiful campus there. Fat Patties is a restaurant that's can't miss if you're in that Huntington, Charleston area. So yeah, I mean a trip to that area is also something that you might want to consider. The 2 weekends that Kings Island is closed in September.
It's not cheating if they're closed. Let's be clear. Now, just as a reminder, Haunt opens September 20th with its all new Scare Zone. So make sure that you check that out. But Don, tell them about the Tower Topics t-shirts.
Tower Topics t-shirts. If you're a fan of the show, I mean, I think this is a must-have. It's comes in a Carolina blue color. Really like the logo that Ryan designed. Fits perfectly on this shirt. It's $22 and includes shipping. If you're interested in one, just let us know your size. You want to send us a direct message on our X, which is Tower_Topics, and we'll send you a QR code. After you've made your purchase, we will get that shirt out to you in just a matter of days, and you will become, one of the growing number of people that now own a Tower Topics t-shirt. And I will say that there's going to be another line of, merchandise coming out too. We'll have more to say about that as we get into, October. But the t-shirt right now, I mean, it's a really comfortable shirt. Of all the t-shirts I own, Ryan, I think it might be the most comfortable.
That's fantastic. All right. We'll be right back with the listener questions. First listener question, Colleen O from Wyoming, Ohio. Club Blood, Trail of Terror, Carnival. Those were the days when Haunt was good and scary. Do you think Haunt will ever return to that level? I'll let you start.
I think it'll become more intense as in the next couple of years. I look at what the Six Flags parks do for their Halloween event. The mazes are good. The scare zones are good. I've been to the events at Six Flags, like Great America has a good Halloween event. So, as you look around to just some of the top stories about what parks are doing for Halloween are at these, legacy Six Flags parks, Magic Mountain, Six Flags Great Adventure. There's a lot of stories out there about, adding all these different mazes with these different, licenses and things that they own. They're taking advantage of that. And I think you'd like to see that, hopefully it trickles down into the legacy Cedar Fair parks. And that would include Kings Island. So I do think there's going to be, last year was kind of a down year. This year, it's pretty much the same thing as what you had last year. Nothing really new outside of a scare zone. But I do think that, as you look to 2026, 2027, I think you'll see Halloween Haunt, kind of getting a different look and feel to it. I think it'll kind of become more what you see at Six Flags. That's just my feeling. I don't have any inside information on that, but that's just what I think because of how successful those Halloween events are at the legacy Six Flags parks.
Yeah, and I honestly think that you do run a risk where if you start taking things for granted. Like we could do 3 haunted houses and the place would still be packed. That's true for now, but it's a matter of time until they're like, oh, Kings Island's not worth going to. That starts to spread around. It takes forever to rebuild your reputation.
Yeah, word of mouth is going to be the number one driver that parks are going to have when they have these different special events. And if that starts to become the narrative that it's not worth going to, that becomes a big problem. And I think they're, treading that line right now based on how it's been the last couple of years. So it does need to get dialed up. I hope it happens. I think it will happen. Appreciate the question.
Yeah. Next question from Mark D, Cincinnati, Ohio. If Kings Island were a football team, based on what's currently on the board for 2025, would the park have a Super Bowl aspiration, or would they be hoping to go 9-8?
That's an interesting question. Let me think about that. I got to process this for a second, Ryan. So,
who would be the coach? Would it be Bruce Coslet or Dick LeBeau?
Homer Rice.
No, that is not on the board for next year.
David Shula. Now, I think that if they were a football team, what the aspirations would be going into 2025 with what we know now, like what's new, what they're doing out in the water park. I would say they're still missing a couple players away from being a bona fide Super Bowl team.
So how do they finish? How do they finish the season?
9-8, 10-7. So they'll have a good year. But will be a championship year? No. That would be my thoughts.
Okay.
What are yours, Ryan?
God. So
I had to process this one.
Yeah. So a lot of it, I mean, and honestly, like the football analogy isn't the hard part. It's because I can equate. I don't know what next year's going to look like because, when we talk about 2022, that was, at least in my lifetime, Kings Island at its finest. 2023, we were like, if Kings Island keeps up 90% of this, then it's going to be the best ever. And it was a huge letdown. So 2024, we assumed that it was going to be another letdown, and it ended up being okay. There's a lot of stuff, and you and I have aired grievances.
Yeah, it's been a winning season.
Right. Season. They're definitely over 500 when I kind of thought they would go like, 4-9 or so. Or no, that's not right. There's 17 games now. It's 4-13.
No, I never thought it would get to that, but no, I mean, they're like I said, they've had a winning season. There's been a lot of really good things that they've done there this year. I think the culinary experience at Kings Island has been, beyond my wildest, hopes and that what it could be when I got the dining plan. I thought that I knew there were some different food items that were really good, but I'm worried about would the consistency be there. What about the portion sizes? Because those are the things, you read online all the time or in social media, KI Central, the portion sizes, or this wasn't good, or that wasn't good. I didn't have that experience. I thought it was, I thought that was the highlight for me of 2024 has been the culinary experience. I think a lot of talented people on that team. That culinary experience includes, the sweet spot and all the treats that are being created that not only are in the sweet spot, but you can pick them up at like the Brew House and some of the different restaurants around the park. So yeah, I mean, that was the best thing for me. The rides, the operations, everything was really good. So yeah, I mean, they had a winning season. Did they win the Super Bowl? No, but it was a good year.
Did they make the playoffs?
They made the playoffs this year, yeah. In my book, they made the playoffs.
Like Andy Dalton made the playoffs, or like Joe Burrow made the playoffs? Because both of them performed differently.
They got to the playoffs.
Okay, so it's like Boomer Esiason. Actually,
got to the playoffs.
That's not a good example.
Didn't go far. Didn't go far to that point. But cool. There's still a lot of football to be played this year for Kings Island. You got
there is. We're about to go into overtime.
That's right.
All right, enough of this.
That was a crazy question.
I'm Ryan Sir, along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.